Well, some of the things I learned were in talking to witnesses, you really learn that, not everybody thinks on the same level or talks to each other the same way. So you really learn to listen.
Also, you've noticed in movies maybe that how they, the lawyers will get up and they'll walk around and they'll do an amazing speech that's summarizing the movie, but that really doesn't happen because what you want to hear is from the witnesses, not the lawyers. All I knew about the way the court worked was what I'd seen from movies or TV, so it's a very different perspective actually being in the courtroom.
After going through the mock trial and just seeing how everything does occur, the mock trial actually helped me realize the different aspects to the court that there are. Like, there is strategy involved, there is logic involved, and so and there's lots of communication involved.
Because when you're in court, you have to act a certain way and dress a certain way, and knowing that boundary is very important. And walking into a building where lawyers and judges are present, you have to act a certain way and not loud and obnoxious. So knowing when to actually act conservative is very important. And that was actually very challenging because I was trying not to be loud, and I'm very loud. So it was a challenge.
I feel like I've learned a lot of respect, how to be polite when talking to figures of authority, and I'm definitely more confident in that now and willing to approach figures of authority.
Actually, working with the judge, you really have to respect them, so it kind of teaches you to respect everybody else, and as a team, you have to respect your colleagues and the opposing team also.
Another thing I feel is I've become a lot more confident in public speaking and just speaking to strangers, people I don't know.
I think I have better presence than I did before after this trial.
Normally I'm not a person who does presentations. I normally freeze up, but in the mock trial it's different. You're talking to a witness and presenting in front of a judge. It's not like you have a whole classroom of people looking at you, so it's surprisingly easy.
It helps you think outside of the box a lot more because you have to anticipate what the defense is going to do, or the opposite teams. You have to anticipate what everybody is going to say, each witness. So you kind of have to be on your toes for everything. And I think it's a good skill because even if you're doing a presentation, you have to anticipate questions that you're going to be asked.
I definitely think the skills that I learned in the mock trial could be used anywhere else, and not only just in other classes, but also when you go into the workforce. It helped me figure out what direction I should go into as well.
I think my favorite part of the mock trial experience was all of the teamwork that we put in and everything, because, I don't know, we really came together as a team and we had group decisions even during the trial. We were taking down notes to fix up the closing or just as evidence came out. And that was really interesting.
Not a single one of us could have done this on our own. Although we each have our individual roles, everybody sort of helps everybody in figuring out what to say and what questions to ask. In fact, we find that it's better to start off as a team and just to look at your case and go, okay, what do we want to get out? What are the main points? And then later on, we sort of assign roles, like you're going to do this questioning. And that way, you've got all these minds working on one project, and it's really not as scary as you thought it was on your own.
We worked out our strategy and worked out what should be said and what should not be said and how to act, and I think that brought us closer not just as classmates but as friends as well, and it was awesome.
Well, my colleagues for the mock trial, we kind of became friends. I didn't really know them at first, and then we kind of bonded, so we were like a little law family. So it was actually a lot of fun.
Often what you come up with as a team is fantastic. It's really good, and that's what you should be really proud of once you're done.
Well, there's always that stereotype that lawyers are sort of like sharks, I guess, but when I met a bunch of different lawyers and a bunch of different judges, that impression goes away immediately.
Oh, I thought it was fantastic. I mean, we had a lot of people volunteer. We had a lot of lawyers come to our school to help us. I think they're very happy to be involved, and they have a lot of advice, and they definitely play a big role in what we were doing today and how we got there.
They're very willing to help you. They'll give you suggestions, constructive criticism. It's a very good process.
I was actually kind of scared of lawyers and judges because I thought they were just very powerful people.
I remember the first time I met Mr. O'Connor. I'll remember his name because he was the first legitimate lawyer who crossed me as practice, and he completely destroyed me. I was ripped to shreds. It was an unbelievable experience. But then afterwards, like, yeah, I tried to fight back first, obviously, but I was simply outclassed. And then he would afterwards, like, I'm like really like scared of this guy. Like, whoa, like you just like totally destroyed me. I don't want to do anything. But afterwards, he was so nice. So, okay, next time you did great here, but this is what you want to do next time.
I did get to meet a Supreme Court judge, and I was really impressed, actually. I understand why they are where they are, because the way that they think is just so systematic, and yeah, so I was really impressed from that.
My advice to any student participating, just to relax. Once you receive the assignment, I suggest you look it over, make notes.
You get this fact scenario and you go, oh my goodness, what am I going to do with this?
Stay calm. That's it. Stay calm and keep your poise.
Talk with your team. It helps a lot. Once you communicate with somebody else, it's a lot easier to get things going.
It's really not as scary as it looks.
The hardest part is you have all this information and it's picking out the parts that will help you, and sometimes information that would seem, oh wow, this is big, but it's entirely not relevant to the case. So it's kind of hard nitpicking what you want to get out of the scenario.
We do a bunch of group discussions, focus on the main points. So when you're up there and you're thinking about those main points, you have something to focus on. I need to get this, I need to get that. And that sort of focus helps you orient yourself. And obviously the preparation before, when we run through it, you just become more and more confident each time you do it.
Focus on the one thing you're meant to do. And, ask for help. Don't worry, don't try and do it all yourself. Ask for help from your teacher, from lawyers, from other friends.
As a witness, since I was a witness, I guess learning your part, speaking with your lawyer, practicing it over and over again. What I did was I practiced my direct examination in the mirror. It really helped, and I guess not cramming is very good, and knowing your part really well.
We start as a witness. You just kind of memorize your script, and when you are indirect, with your lawyer on your side, it's very smooth. But when you first do cross, when they're trying to get something out of you and they're not exactly on the same side, it's pretty intimidating to the point in which the first time I would just go yes, 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 and I would just give one-word answers, and I would just completely play along. But as you do more mock trials, you kind of start realizing that you can make a difference in the trial and the outcome by just saying, if they say you said that you saw so-and-so acting violent, you can say, no, I didn't see him acting violent, just, a little mouthy. And that can completely change everything, because that can just change the perception of the character. And basically, it can actually, you, the witness, can be just as important as the lawyers.
You have to think of every possible angle and every loophole that could be in your case, and you have to cover up for that, or else it can really bring your case down.
You actually have to go back to the basics and think about the evidence, right? People try and apply the evidence to their theory, and it's actually the other way around. So I find that it's very hard to really let the evidence speak for itself, because you're so wanting to win this case. It's not about winning. There's always that temptation. It is competitive, and it is fun to win, and you may lose the case. As a Crown attorney, the defense may sort of win the case, but you may have done better overall in terms of being a lawyer. So I think that helps emphasize the fact that it really isn't about who wins the case, it's about justice being served.
Oh, I had so much fun. I think I'm probably going to end up going to law school. I haven't quite decided, but because of this, it's definitely influenced me, and I think that might be where I'm headed now.
If you're not sure whether you want to do a mock trial, you're iffy on it, you know what, I say go for it, because it's something that you might at first be intimidating, or it might maybe boring, you're just sitting there in a courtroom, but it's actually really fun, because it's kind of you kind of become so emotionally and intellectually invested into this, and you want to see it through. It's experience that you have to do yourself, and if you have doubts, just forget them. You're going to have a lot of fun doing it the first time, and you're going to end up coming back just like I did.